What's up guys, and welcome back to the final part of the ultimate guide to the second DLC for Dark Souls 2. So we're going to start in the foyer because there's an item at the very beginning that we couldn't get to earlier. I know you can jump that gap, but now that the elevators are working, we can just take the elevator up.
I mean, the jump is a really tricky one, and there's pretty much no point in doing it.
It's unlikely that you'll land it. Now what you can do is you can go all the way down to the bottom and use this lift. I just completely forgot and decided to drop off, but yeah, you can access it from there. But this is the only item we're going to have to get this up here. It's the Baneful Bird Ring. It does...
Weapons do more stamina damage.
No, that's the Ivory Warrior Ring. This one is you take less stamina damage when using a shield.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the Ivory Warrior Ring is the one that your weapons deal more stamina damage. And this is the part where I just completely fucking derp out and just run into every single obstacle possible that would stop me moving. What luck, eh?
So now we're going to go back to the foyer.
Foyer?
Foyer or foyer?
You're not a Frenchman, it's a foyer.
A fucking foyer.
I'd excuse it if you were Canadian, but you're no French.
Okay, that's fine. So, as you guys have probably been wondering, where's the third part of the DLC, and we're going to just show you essentially how to do the Smelter Demon co-op optional-esque part of the DLC. Now, they seem to equate difficulty and co-op area with just throw a bunch of fucking enemies at you.
Okay, I want to touch something here. So you need to open this gate here using the iron key. You can go to the left and get the tower key, and you go to the left and take on a couple of giants to get the tower key. Just so you guys know, we got it in the last video.
Yeah.
Or the video before it, probably.
That was the last one.
The last one, yeah. Okay. So we're going down and we're going to pick up some magic regeneration herbs, I suppose.
Now, something to note is this area is... The only things you're getting out of this area are another Smelter Demon Soul and bragging rights and the Faris Mask.
Not even really bragging rights after seeing how fucking insanely easy the Blue Smelter Demon becomes with this build.
Yeah, like, if you want to just know how to do the Blue Smelter Demon yourself and you've maybe been having problems with it or whatever, then this is the build that you go for pretty much almost every boss in the game. There's a few exceptions, but this build is gonna pretty much annihilate the boss for you. We're gonna switch to the build, but we're just
we're just putting on the build to go through this particular area. So I'm putting on the Ultra Greatsword because it's high damage and the poise damage is pretty nice as well.
Yeah.
And the Royal Soldier's Ring is so that I can stay under 50% because we're gonna have to do a couple of dodges so that we can get through a gate that remains closed if you miss it. So you guys might need to reset a few times.
Yeah.
Just to get the hang of the gate anyway. So these are the two summons. We're gonna bring them in like. Really, you don't need to bring them in right now because you're doing the gate section, but they can kill enemies, and if they kill enemies while you're doing the gate section, it's just more souls for you.
Plus,
so you may as well take advantage of that.
When you're doing the non-gate section, because the path splits, essentially this is their idea of...
The path splits a lot because you have to, we end up resetting like 4 times just to get every item on the run through these gates.
Yeah.
So you have to pull this lever and you have to run down this corridor. Now you don't need to dodge the first one, you need to dodge the second fireball. Or you just need to keep dodging and rolling till you get through this gate so that it doesn't close on you, and there's usually an enemy on each layer as well, but this leads to like if you go through the normal area, you see like enemies up on ledges that you can't get to from there. That's where this area leads.
Yeah, so
and this is a new enemy.
Yes, this is an astrologist.
I'll just get the drops for you guys right now. The astrologists, they have the chance to drop, of course, the astrologist robes, gloves and bottoms. They also have the chance to drop the Black Hollow Mage hood that they're wearing, and they can drop Katha's chime, which is it's a hex chime, if I'm right.
Now, essentially what this area would be is if you were co-oping with someone, you would get one person to go this way and they would kill all the ranged enemies that are up on this ledge while you and someone else go and kill the other enemies.
You can see right there, there's like 4 Ashen Warriors right down there, and that's just stupid to do as one player because it's just tedious. It's time consuming, which it doesn't really need to be.
But you've got to do it if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, so. You need to do it. And this guy's just getting fucked up, so I'm just going to leave him to his demise.
Now, here's another set of like cells, essentially, with a pulley lever.
Yeah, they're like little prison gates.
Not doing that currently because this is like the furthest away drop down area, so we've got to do that just now. Or you might do the cell.
No, I do the cells first. Like the methodology behind going this way was that go to the very back so that the distances you go to afterwards are shorter. So I'm going to go to the very last drop section so that when I need to do it again, I don't need to try and roll through more gates. I just need to go through I go through this gate once and then I don't have to touch it again, I'm sure. So I was just getting this out of the way so that I didn't have to go through areas that I'd already beaten and beat enemies more times than I had to.
Right, okay. So yeah, so this is like right at the back, and oh yeah, because there's the guy with the bow. So I mean, really, ideally, you probably just want to run past all the enemies if you just want to do the Smelter Demon, because the items that you actually pick up here are just really consumables. Yeah,
it's nothing unique anyway. You do get a unique item after the Smelter Demon, but there's nothing unique when it comes to these little side paths that you can go down. It really just seems like a place where they can put more enemies so that you have to do more work.
Yeah, they kind of equated this as a co-op mechanic, but I'm not really feeling it personally.
No, there's no teamwork involved in this when it's just loads of dudes. That's not really teamwork to turn around and be like, you know, you need to go this way because you need to do something so that I can go this way.
Yeah,
it's a poor implementation of trying to get people to work together. I mean, I suppose it works together in the sense that you can then like divide and conquer sort of way, but it just doesn't feel like actual co-op in a sense, because you're not trying to solve something, you're just splitting up.
Yeah, so that is pretty much the furthest away items.
So now I'm going to send these guys home because they've been killing stuff and we've been getting some souls while they've been doing that. So this is like a small price to pay. So we're going to Black Crystal, use a feather to go back to this, and of course rest so that it refills your flasks, it repairs your weapons because it normally doesn't do that, and that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And we're going to summon them again for the exact same reason, that they will kill enemies and give us souls.
Now, at the very least, like, we find that the Blue Smelter Demon was really quite hard the first time that we done him.
Oh yeah.
Although he is like a sort of slightly semi-copy and pasted boss, he has been mixed up enough that it does feel like a fairly different fight.
Some of his attacks have been delayed, and he's got a few new things as well, a few more weaknesses, but a few more strengths. The delayed attacks can mess with your timing. Some of his attacks are sped up. His range is a lot greater as well compared to the regular Smelter Demon. And I just roll punched that guy because fuck magic users, I guess.
But there is, like we said, an easy way of taking out this Smelter Demon. So much like the Fume Knight, he can be made pretty easy.
But much like most of the bosses, they can be made pretty easy with the right setup.
I guess we'll see if Lud and Zalin benefit from this setup.
I'm pretty sure I'll destroy Lud and Zalin. The tough part's going to be just getting to them without throwing my controller through my telly.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so here is the furthest away drop down area, essentially.
Yeah, this is like just before the second set of cells, and I'm looking for this little bastard who just appears behind me, so slam jam time.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if you're going this one way, like the back way, it isn't actually really very hard. It's just
there's less enemies.
Yeah, it's just the rolling is the issue, essentially.
Yeah, getting through the gate can be a little tricky. Like getting through it first time can be tricky. It's once you learn the timings though, it's not so bad. And then this fucking mage guy drops down, so that immediately makes this more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah, not only that, if you drop down to this area, you can't actually go and kill that mage.
Yeah, because you can't get up onto this ledge.
Because that's a drop down part. So.
Yep. So the only way onto this ledge is to go through the first gate, and as I said, the gates remain closed if you miss them. Like you can't pull the lever again to get a second try. So you need to get through it first try, or or you're just not getting to this part basically.
Yeah, I mean there isn't really even a whole amount to talk about. I mean, the Greatsword is good because it does so much poise damage to all the enemies here, so you kind of want to be able to be stunning them as much as possible.
Yeah, if you can stop them attacking, you don't take damage. I should clarify that when I said you only get one try, I mean that you only get one try. You can't pull it again unless you reload the area. So like you'd have to rest at a bonfire to be able to pull the lever and give it a second go.
Yeah, so this ledge, there isn't any items here, so I guess you could jump off from where you were the last time, unless you want to kill this guy for helping someone really.
Yeah, it just takes one more ranged enemy, and as you can see, that's where we were previously. That's where the mage dropped down when I was fighting the possessed armor. That's where we were there. So time to send them home, go back and reset again. Yep, there's a lot of resets in this one, guys.
Yeah, and it's not even worth it considering the items that you actually get. But of course, we're going to show you. So
ultimate guys, we need to hit all 100% of items.
So now we're going to open this gate, then run.
Do the first set of drop downs. So we're going to go through this gate, and then we're going to do the drop downs that are on this section. And then we're going to reset. We're going to go through this gate again and do the cells on the second section, and then reset again and do the cells on the first section. And this is so that you can get every single item that's in this area. And as we said, guys, there's nothing really great here. It's like not anything amazing. It's all consumables.
So where were we?
Just talk about how these items are pretty much useless.
Yeah, because this isn't. Oh, okay, this is the cells.
Yeah. I did check these cells for invisible walls. There aren't any. And there's like 1 or 2 items here, which once again aren't really worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much you're best off just not wasting your time, honestly.
Well, like we said, we need to show you where every item is, so let's do it. Let's grab the last of these items. So we're actually going to take these guys on, but we're going to let them get hit with the fireball so that they take a little bit of damage before they get to us. Two-handed the greatsword as well because of the poise break, and just we're going to completely annihilate these guys. There we go. It breaks their poise every hit when you two-hand it, so you really should do that.
See, I always thought that these Ashen Knights like had more health or defense than the other ones in the main game, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but regardless, like two-handing the greatsword pretty much doesn't really matter, even if they did.
Yeah.
So the drop-down section from this part, because there's a drop-down section over there, and the drop-down section from this part takes you to the one with the possessed armor, I'm sure.
I mean, I suppose you could have done the cells before we done the drop-down section. I think I did that. I think I did the fullest away drop-down section, then done the cells, and then done these drop-down sections.
The item is like a torch and like dried herb or something.
Yeah, it's nothing special. So now we're just gonna reset again because that's what you need to do, apparently.
Yeah. So this should be the last time we need to reset, and now we're just going to go through the actual area.
Yeah.
Presumably, I can just check. No, I can't. It's not letting me scroll up. But yeah. Now let's just do the area, and it's basically just kill the men. Do you know what I mean? There's
yeah, it's just kill the army until you get to the fucking the boss door, essentially. Try not to get like fucked up too much off the guys that you can't access.
Point that needs to be made is, because if you're doing this yourself, you don't have someone to take care of the enemies for you. Well, I mean, I guess you do, but like, if you can't be bothered, like going and killing the enemies, like going the other way. If you go this way, then what you want to do is be as light as possible. Yeah,
because there's the guys cast Promised Walk of Peace, I think it's called. I can't remember.
Yeah,
and it slows you down. It raises your equipment burden quite a bit. So we're like at 20% here, I think we're at 25%, so that when our equipment burden gets increased, we're not immediately going to like the slowest roll in the game.
Yeah.
And of course we've got that agility for those iframes as well, so we want to make our roll as quick as possible, so that we can react, like, we can react later, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, this applies for the Smelter Demon. So when you're actually fighting the Smelter Demon, or indeed any of the bosses in the DLC, yeah, this happens, by the way. So
yeah, these guys are fucking great.
So when you're fighting any of the bosses in the DLC, you really want to be as fast as possible, because regardless they hit pretty hard no matter what you're wearing.
Yeah.
So it's much better to just avoid being hit, as opposed to like turtling up. So that seems to be, at least in our experience, the sort of best method.
Yeah,
essentially.
So now we need to kill the men in the game. And I'm just going to backstab these guys because they're just giving me the option to right now, so fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, these guys definitely take off like a bunch of aggro from you, but
yeah,
the other enemies up on the ledge can be a total pain.
You need to be careful. There's a few times where I almost die because of the mages and the fucking the guys that are the possessed armors that are shooting as well. Like here, I almost fucking bit the dust, and that was just because I got greedy.
So again, like, I guess what happens is you sort of want the NPCs. Like, unless you're just running through the area.
Attack bounced off the wall, fucking great, and that was a perfect backstab, 10 out of 10.
So unless you're trying to get the, like, unless you're actually fighting enemies, or if you're just running through them just to beat the Smelter Demon, you should be okay. But if you're not taking the risk, and you're just doing it yourself, you can pretty much only ever do one drop down to kill one set of enemies on the ledge, and then that's you essentially.
Yeah.
And even then, the NPCs are going to be significantly weakened because they're fucking shite and they're going to get battered by a whole load of the enemies.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Because like by the time you actually get to the area, the time I get there anyway, these guys are pretty low health.
Yeah.
So they're not even that helpful really. But I mean, as we mentioned earlier, we're just really using them as aggro shields and like cannon fodder, essentially.
Yeah. It's kind of dumb that you're split between, okay, so I can kill the mages and get some of the items, but if I want help with the NPCs, then I have to go this way and have to deal with being shot at from the mages.
That I can't get to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really irritating.
It's really annoying, and it's just better that it would be better if these areas were accessible from like every direction, as opposed to you're very limited in the fact that if you go this way, tough shit, or if you go this way, tough shit. And that's kind of that's irritating at the least, when especially when the enemies that you access on that way, your choices are go through these incredibly tanky enemies while being shot at, or take care of the enemies that are shooting at you and miss everything else.
Yeah, pretty much. However, really it's no big deal, because when you're actually about to do Smelter Demon, and again, we suggest that if you're having a problem with any bosses or any bosses in the DLC,
fucking
just
range.
Get to all the bosses.
Almost bled me in one hit.
So we did, Jesus Christ. So get to all the bosses, or just before you can get to them, and then just soul vessel into this build, and then just go back. That is pretty much our advice.
Or if you're a dex build, you don't even need to soul vessel, because if you're a dex build, you're already better off because we're using a rapier.
Or in fact, if you are just a build that can wear a rapier, like if you have the stats for a rapier.
Yeah, we're at 14 dex and we completely annihilate with the rapier. You don't even need to invest the dex in it to make it good. Yeah. It just so happens. And what I've done here, by the way, is I've poisoned the big guy so that the two summons can work on him and lower his health. But this guy unfortunately fell down, so it made things a little tricky, as I'm getting wailed on by the guy's fucking club.
It's so big. It's crazy how you can see how much health the NPCs have compared to you, because he goes bang and then it takes off like 2/3 of your health and you're like, oh fuck, and then it hits one of the NPCs and it's like nothing.
It's only a flesh wound.
Yeah, I know.
So that's us like cleared out the area. So now what we're going to do is we're going to send the phantoms home, and we're going to take on Smelter. So we're going to switch out our halberd, we're going to go to our rapier, and we're getting Brightbug and we're getting lightning resin on, because this Smelter Demon has quite a high magic resistance.
As you would expect.
His lightning and dark defenses aren't too bad, and his fire defenses aren't too bad either. Generally lightning is probably your best bet when it comes to most of the bosses in the game. It seems to be a common weakness.
Yeah, we didn't actually work out the specific weaknesses for this boss, but chances are, I mean, it's not really going to make a huge difference for this guy. You can pretty much assume that he's got to be strong to magic. Even
if you don't buff, you can annihilate this guy. I kill him in under a minute. So you can annihilate this guy pretty quickly. It's all to do with getting that Leo ring counter with the rapier.
Oh yeah, you'll see the very specific strategy, which would probably be the case for almost any weapon, because although the Leo ring does mean you do more damage, you still, so long as you're hitting a boss in its counter window frames with any weapon, so long as it has counter damage, you're going to be doing extra. So this is kind of what you want to be going for, is in terms of an opening. Yeah,
I mean, like the damage that we get is really good. So you guys can buff your rapier and Brightbug right now, but I'm going to go into the boss gate. I'm going to show you all Smelter's moves, and then I'm going to kill him when he's like buffed and he's at like max potential to kill you. I'm going to kill him in under a minute after that point. But that's really just to do with the build. The strategy for Smelter is just stay next to his left hip. As you can see here, I'm like constantly like just to the side of his left leg. This is a very good demonstration of why you shouldn't back up and use items. You should wait until after his attacks when you're behind him, because he has that charging poke, which is really annoying.
It does a really decent amount of damage as well.
Yeah, that was like half of my health off in a single hit.
Now, this Smelter Demon is unique to the first one because this is his self-buff, essentially.
Yeah, this is when he begins to immolate.
Which
so
clearly it does.
Next to him, it does damage to you just for standing in his proximity.
Yeah, and clearly it does it just after a timed period. You don't need to do damage to him or whatever.
Because he's still at full HP, and this buff is, as Tony was saying, it's unique because the original Smelter doesn't have the AoE when he does it. He just sort of buffs, but he gets much higher defenses during those stages. This guy doesn't, so if you iframe through the buff, you can hit him a few times.
If you're feeling ballsy.
Yeah, so I've shown you his moves, so I'm now buffing because it's time to kill him, and he's buffing his sword, so that's him now at max potential, and I'm just going to go ham on him. So I'm not doing that much damage right now because it's not a counter window. This is when you hit him. After the wog, you get in there, look at the damage, 500 on R1.
Bang, bang, bang.
You can get 3 counter hits in with the Leo ring. All 3 hits will be a counter and you just annihilate him. So you just wait for him to do this. You can heal during this wog because it's delayed. So you've got time to do that and just get about him, poke him 3 times and then get ready to move. Hug that left hip and you're good. It's that easy. Just remember he does the AoE after almost every single jump attack.
Sometimes he doesn't though. But that's not an issue.
He immediately recovers when he doesn't do the wog. So you just try and keep that in mind.
But I mean, otherwise, like this is
So you're always rolling to your right, just past him. You're always rolling just past him to your right. You're trying to get behind his left leg when you roll, and that will keep you safe from every attack. The jump attack you can roll in any direction, but you're constantly getting behind his left leg. I don't think I get hit again. Actually, I think all that damage was immolation.
Yeah, you only got hit like 3 times or something.
Yeah. So I mean, there you go, guys. That's how you do it. So easy Smelter is easy now.
Yeah.
He does cause you a lot of problems if you don't really know how to beat him though, because his damage is quite high.
And his timings are crazy as well.
Yeah, like if you're used to fighting the regular Smelter Demon, then he can fuck you up with some of his timings. And there's your reward, the Faris Mask. When you wear it, your character is immediately soaking wet, so you have naturally higher fire resistance and lower lightning resistance.
Now, the issue is that this thing would have been handy if it was like a secret item before the Iron Keep.
Yeah.
Because,
but it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've done the Iron Keep, so you can get to this DLC.
And there's not even any fire bosses, like, after this.
Well, I mean, there's Fume Knight, but we done him first, because it doesn't matter what order you do the bosses in.
Yeah, and Fume Knight, like, the amount of damage you'd be taking from him isn't really an issue, so...
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is, but, like, trying to nullify fire damage isn't really going to be an issue.
Yeah. Especially when the Hexel set, because it already has good fire defenses.
Now, if you have a spare ring slot, you could wear the...
Spell Quartz ring?
Yeah, which would significantly reduce the Smelter Demon's damage.
Because we got the +3 ring next to the bonfire in the foyer, so you give yourself like an extra 200 spell resistance, which is great considering that Smelter Demon's magic based.
And now that you have...
Speaking of his soul, yes. Now that you have it...
Yeah.
Go on.
Right, now that you have the Smelter Demon soul, the blue... Well, at least now that you... Apparently you need to beat the blue Smelter Demon to
According to the wiki, you do.
So, but once you beat the blue Smelter Demon, you've got a soul, you can make the blue Smelter Sword, which
The
is basically
aged
just...
Smelter Sword, yeah.
Yeah, which is basically just the Smelter Demon Sword, except magic and fire being switched.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But that's it for this one, guys. So...
You know, links on screen.
Every single item, as ever, we think. If we miss something, guys, let us know so we can put an annotation for where the item is.
That should be everything in the second DLC. And yeah, because we don't have like a guide for reference, so this is our like...
And even then, when we used the guide for reference, we still found stuff that wasn't on it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but yeah, that's it, guys. If you haven't watched already, you can go back and watch the Shulva guide.
Yeah, so this click left to take you to part 1 of that, and click right to take you to part 1 of the third DLC.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. So we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully it was informative. Bye, guys.